Shaken rumors are circulating that Jim Jones was just involved in a startling public argument with Chrissy Lampkin and Baby. According to eyewitnesses, the specifics are outrageous. Things quickly went from 0 to 100, and let's just say that Jim's reputation is barely hanging on. It began with what appeared to be a straightforward disagreement, but sources claim that Jim utterly lost control. And what occurred next? Oh honey, it's worse than you imagine. Left Chrissy terrified, the audience in disbelief, and social media in full meltdown mode. Fans are divided on whether Jim Jones went too far this time, what set off his dramatic outburst, and, most importantly, who the enigmatic character at the heart of all this drama is. Grab some popcorn because this scandal is just getting started. Celebrities are speaking out, and insiders are revealing information that could destroy Jim's entire career. All right, buckle up. Up because if you thought the relationship between Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin was nasty before, you haven't seen anything yet. This most recent scandal is so crazy that even hip-hop and love are in it. The producers are likely frantically trying to find out how to cover it. So let's go back in time and see how we got here. The details are nasty, baby. And it all began at a Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin were together at a private gathering on Saturday night, holding hands and grinning as if everything was okay. Fans were taken aback because, let's face it, Jim and the relationship between Chrissy and Jim has been rocky for years. One moment they are engaged, the next they are taking a break. Jim has been involved in money problems, shady business, and cheating suspicions. Transactions, but Chrissy has always been by his side. However, this time, Chrissy may have had enough. According to witnesses, Jim and Chrissy were sitting in the VIP area of a fancy hotel. Jim had allegedly been drinking a bit too much, which isn't exactly out of character for him. But this time it impacted him in a new way as things started to go wrong at the New York City club. According to a club source, Jim was acting strangely the entire night. He was pacing back and forth and appeared upset. Chrissy tried to calm him down repeatedly, but he refused, and then BM occurred. Witnesses claim that Jim snatched his phone away from him after receiving a text message that apparently triggered him. Chrissy moved over to inquire about the matter, and that's when things became heated. Chrissy began ranting. Chrissy tried to remain composed since, as you are well aware, she dislikes creating a spectacle, but Jim would not let it go. According to another eyewitness who was sat close by, Chrissy remained screaming, "Calm down, Jim isn't here." But Jim was furious and began pointing at her while his voice grew louder. At that moment, those nearby noticed the music was still playing. However, you could see everyone turning to face the VIP area, and that's when things truly got out of hand. According to one witness, Jim got up and walked straight into Chrissy's. It appeared as like he was going to grasp her arm, but Chrissy pushed him away and told him not to, but Jim, oh honey, did it. According to reports, Jim grabbed Chrissy's arm and attempted to pull. A mysterious man who was close to the couple moved in to separate them after Chrissy wrenched her arm away and yelled, "Let go of me and y'all." The entire club froze at that moment. According to witnesses, this mysterious man has been a close friend of Jim's for years. But the way he intervened nearly seemed to be an attempt to shield Chrissy more than Jim. This guy moved between them and told Jim to calm down because she was doing too much. But Jim pushed him back and told him to keep out of it. At this point, security had to intervene since Chrissy's face was shaking. Jim shoved the unknown man one last time and cried, "You don't know what the F** you're?" as security pulled him out of the club. She was flushed and clearly holding back her tears. Talking and Chrissy, oh honey, she remained behind and appeared shaken, according to one source. People approached her to inquire how she was doing, but she sat down and buried her head in her hands, remained silent and just sat there. Now, according to others familiar with the situation, Jim was furious because, oh baby, it's a bad word on the street. Jim's phone was exploding with messages from an unidentified lady Chrissy had thought Jim had been having affairs with for months. Yes, there had been reports of Jim cheating for years, but Chrissy has consistently stood up for him. Even when people said that Jim was out in Miami with an unidentified woman, Chrissy dismissed the accusations, but this time she witnessed the evidence firsthand from a close source. He knew he was caught, So instead of owning up to it, Chrissy reacted angrily after seeing the messages on Jim's phone. Let me tell you, social media was a waste. There was no point in jumping on this right away since by the time Jim and Chrissy left the club, video of the fight was already making the rounds online. Someone inside the club had captured the entire incident and uploaded it to TikTok. With the caption, "Jim Jones went out on Chrissy at the club. This man is finished," and the comments were so nasty, Chrissy had better leave him now. Jim is now out there making Chrissy look bad once more. Chrissy is playing herself if she stays with him at this point, and the most absurd thing is that neither Chrissy nor Jim have spoken about the incident at all. Jim's Instagram is silent, and Chrissy's stories are blank. However, as you are well aware, silence is more powerful than words. However, this is where things get even more interesting since the unidentified man who defended Chrissy, oh honey, may not be merely according to a source close to the pair. Chrissy has been dating this guy for a while, and let's just say that some are beginning to question whether she has moved on. Jim and Rocky have been together for months, and Jim is aware that Chrissy has been depending on him for emotional support. The fact that Jim publicly yelled at her in that way isn't just rage, baby. That's a worry that Chrissy might be done with him permanently. The big question now is what will happen since, based on what I've heard, Chrissy isn't giving up this time. According to a source close to Chrissy stated that she's exhausted and that she's had enough with Jim. This could finally be the tipping point. Jim, on the other hand, is reportedly in damage control mode and has already contacted her, to some of his contacts in the industry to try to hide the truth. But the film of AG is now public, so there's no turning back from this one. Let me tell you, the fallout from this scandal is severe. The entire world of love and hip-hop is about to be rocked because, should Chrissy permanently leave and the whispers about this mysterious man turn out to be accurate, Jim could lose more than just his relationship. Everything is far from over, I assure you, because what comes next is going to get messier. If you thought part 1 was messy, you're only just getting started, since the fallout from Jim Jones's angry outburst is much worse than we initially believed. Fans are picking sides, and judging by Chrissy's current behavior, it looks as if Jim had just messed up with the woman and the bag. Where did we leave off? Oh, right. Jim was being hauled out of the club by security after attempting to pull Chrissy from the front booth. Chrissy was left sitting there in a crowded room, feeling ashamed, shaky, and humiliated. But let's talk about what transpired next, because that's where the real drama begins, honey. Let's examine what we currently know. Sources close to the couple, and by close I mean close, have verified that Jim's outburst wasn't only due to Chrissy's response, was as a result of those texts. A very reliable insider claims that Jim had been texting an unidentified woman for months, and this isn't simply a casual side chick issue. Speaking in private, flirting, and outright emotional infidelity, according to a source, Chrissy had been suspecting Jim for some time, but he consistently denied it. However, when those communications were up on his phone, and Chrissy witnessed them firsthand, the messages were ugly, and we were exchanging late-night texts like, "I miss you," "When are you coming to see me?" I apologize, but the worst thing is that according to reports, this mystery woman isn't just any random girl. She is supposedly related to someone else in the industry, to become a full-fledged industry scandal, but the worst part is that Chrissy refused to discuss it at all, presumably in an effort to manage the matter in private. Jim's reaction that caused everything to blow up in Chrissy's face. According to an insider close to Chrissy, she was composed at first and was attempting to act maturely. But as Jim began ranting and Chrissy realized he was guilty when he started acting strangely, and guess what? This isn't even the first time Jim has been linked to infidelity suspicions. You all recall back in 2019 when Jim was seen with Chrissy, the Instagram model in Miami, went live and essentially told everyone to shut up. This time, she's not playing that game, and when the video got viral, baby. By the time the video appeared on the blogs, the internet was in full swing. On Twitter, hashtags like #ProtectChrissy and #Jim Jones Exposed were already trending, and Chrissy needed to stop making nasty remarks. The celebs, they, should take him for what he is worth, and Jim is embarrassing himself this time. "How do you treat the woman who held you down like this, Chrissy?" Began comparing two Cardi B hop artists on Twitter and wrote, Man, some of you really don't deserve the women you got, SMH. Tamar Braxton also said, Chrissy is better than me because I would have responded to that circumstance in a totally different way. And the comments continued flowing in. Remy Ma, who often avoids drama of this nature, liked a tweet stating that Jim has been acting odd for years. Chrissy deserves better, and that's not all because, as you are all aware, social media detectives never stop looking. Fans started looking into Jim's social media behavior right away, and let's see what they discovered. Just to illustrate that Jim hasn't exactly been behaving like a true man, a snapshot of Jim and commenting on images of a specific woman appeared. Sure enough, it was the same woman who claims to have sent those messages. And guess what else they discovered? A recent direct message exchange in which Jim flirted with her, calling her attractive and using heart eye emojis as if he hadn't previously. The screenshots were shared by one fan, who said, Jim has been moving recklessly, and Chrissy just found him. Oh, honey, he's not helping himself because instead of laying low, and as the tension subsided, Jim took to Instagram and shared this mysterious photo. Excuse me, but what exactly is it? We don't know, Jim, but the big surprise occurred when you guys recall how we discussed the man who intervened between Jim and Chrissy? Well, it seems that he knows a lot more than he's claiming. The mystery man who broke up the argument spoke out. According to insiders, the mysterious man has been close to Chrissy for years and has witnessed Jim's treatment of her behind the scenes. He is apparently fed up with this. For years, the mystery man has warned Chrissy that Jim isn't the right man for her, but she wasn't prepared to hear it. Now it appears that he may be taking additional action. More than one, since the mysterious man allegedly told Chrissy after the occurrence that she didn't deserve this, and that she deserved more. And the way she looked at him afterwards. Well, honey, there's according to one person familiar with the matter, Chrissy doesn't tend to switch around her relationships. But there is undoubtedly a connection between her and this guy. And Jim, oh, he's unhappy about it. Sources claim that after the encounter, Jim confronted the mystery man and things became hot. According to an insider, Jim begged him to back off, saying, "That's my woman." The mystery man responded, then pretend that it hadn't happened. Therefore, the question now is Chrissy truly done with Jim this time? Based on what I've heard, Chrissy is finally beginning to pay attention to those around her, and the fact that Jim is spiraling. He has been spotted out in New York drinking, looking unkempt, and this mysterious man may have been the wake-up call she needed when he stepped in while he was behaving out. Depressed, he has been phoning Chrissy constantly to apologize, but she isn't answering. And the most bizarre thing he has heard is that Chrissy has already been speaking to her. If what I'm hearing is accurate, Jim might lose not only Chrissy, but also his money because, guess what? Chrissy's name is on some of Jim's business transactions, including the house they live in, and Jim might be left without a place to go if Chrissy leaves. But here's the thing. Chrissy hasn't said anything yet and has been silent on social media, and that silence that's louder than anything she could say. But the fact that she's already speaking with her lawyer demonstrates that things are not looking good for Jim. And the fallout from this is going to get even messier than they currently are. Because Jim's job and reputation might be permanently destroyed if Chrissy files for legal action and the unidentified woman comes forward. And believe me, you're not prepared for what's about to happen. If you thought part 2 was crazy, wait until you hear what happened next because baby, the fallout is coming up. And stay locked in because part 3 is about to get radioactive. Jim Jones's outburst is getting out of hand. And the damage is worse than anyone could have imagined. His reputation, profession, and even relationship are all on the verge of collapse. And Chrissy, where did we leave off, honey? Given the way she's acting right now, let's assume Jim may have finally pushed her too far. Oh, remember, Jim was on a downward spiral after being exposed for those shady texts. Oh, honey, he did not take that well to the messages and the public altercation with Chrissy at the club. The mystery man had already intervened to defend Chrissy and Jim. Let's discuss what transpired next because, believe me, it's worse than you may imagine. Apparently, Jim didn't simply leave the club event peacefully. Instead, he was yelling about it. Word is that Jim left the club right away and proceeded to a nearby hotel. But he wasn't by himself, since a reliable insider revealed that Jim had departed with someone. And it wasn't Chrissy. And let's excuse me, but they weren't exactly attempting to disguise it. Jim reportedly exited the club with a woman who appeared to be a questionable match for the person he had. I'm not claiming it was the mystery woman, but the receipts pile up. According to a person familiar with the matter, Jim wasn't even attempting to be inconspicuous when he left Holding. Even though Chrissy hadn't left the club yet, he was already moving on when someone managed to capture it on camera. Sure enough, the following morning's pictures showed Jim departing the hotel. Due to this mystery woman, TMZ, The Shade Room, Hollywood Unlocked, and everyone had the tale. One fan shared a picture of the mystery woman on social media with the description, "Jim couldn't even wait 224." Jim has been trashing Chrissy for hours before she was embarrassed again. And the comments were so nasty that Chrissy has to cut him off permanently. Chrissy deserves more, and Jim isn't even trying to conceal it. Now, how are you going to cheat and then have the audacity to be caught? What if it didn't get worse? Oh, honey, it did. Because guess what? The mystery woman went, "Oh, Liv," she said on Instagram while enjoying a glass of wine, appearing quite unconcerned. She grinned when comments began to pour in, inquiring as to if she was the only guy remaining. "I'm not the one who made vows, so that's his problem." Excuse me, but you're telling me that this woman is aware that Jim was out there demeaning Chrissy and she's just giggling about it. Honey and Jim. Oh, he made it worse by posting a picture of it on Instagram the following day, rather than denying it or saying sorry. Oh my goodness. I think I nearly hurled my phone across the room. And Chrissy saw it too, because a few hours later she wrote a mysterious note on her Instagram story that stated, "Believe them the first time when they show you who they are, baby. But let me tell you, it didn't end there because the mystery man, he wasn't going to relax and allow Jim to get away with this," according to a source close to Chrissy. Following Jim's small stunt, the mystery man called Chrissy and assured her that she wouldn't have to deal with this any longer. Chrissy apparently heard because, guess what? Chrissy headed to her lawyer next. Yes, Chrissy was seen outside the office of a well-known lawyer in New York City. And this isn't just some one source claimed that Chrissy is no longer playing games and has been keeping Jim down for years. But this time it's not just any lawyer. We're talking about one of the most vicious divorce lawyers in the industry. She's finished, and the whispers are getting out of control, according to insiders. Chrissy isn't just ready to leave. She wants to take everything with her. You can see that her name appears on some items. Jim's greatest assets are his house, his businesses, and his endorsement deals. If Chrissy files for divorce, Jim might lose everything, and according to the insider, Chrissy supported him. She's entitled to half of what he's constructed now that he had nothing. And Jim, yes, he realizes he made a mistake because it seems that after learning that Chrissy had spoken with her lawyer, Jim began blowing up her phone. According to a person close to Chrissy, Jim has been phoning her constantly, texting her and leaving voicemails. He even came up at her apartment, but Chrissy refused to open the door. And the craziest part is that Jim even called his own mother, Mama Jones, to try to persuade her to speak with Chrissy. According to one source, Jim's mother called Chrissy and essentially pleaded with her to make amends. But Chrissy informed her that although I love her, I can't continue doing this. Oh, honey, the internet is on Chrissy's side. Chrissy deserves better because she held Jim down when no one else did. And this is how Chrissy should pay him back for everything. And celebs are speaking out about it as well. Nicki Minaj wrote in a post about the subject that Chrissy has been faithful to Jim, who has been playing himself, and guess what? Remy Ma wrote on her Instagram story, "Don't play with a woman who held you down from day one." But Jim isn't just dealing with personal criticism. Who else jumped in? According to a source, Jim had been in negotiations with a big network regarding a new reality TV deal, but the arrangement was put on hold following this scandal. His career is already taking a damage. According to people close to the network, they don't want the negative publicity because Jim's name is currently too dirty. Advertisers are already leaving, and his business is declining. It appears that Jim's big endorsement arrangement, a six-figure footwear deal, is already ending. An insider verified that the company doesn't want to be linked to this kind of, from where I sit. Chrissy has all the power at the moment and has the receipts. So the question now is how Jim will recover from this scandal. where they are thinking of terminating the contract. She has the backing of the public, the legal edge, and if Chrissy chooses to pursue this all the way to court, Jim might not only lose his relationship but perhaps his profession, his wealth, his whole reputation, and the most absurd thing is that Chrissy hasn't even spoken yet. According to a source close to Chrissy, she is allowing Jim to hang himself at this very moment, because everything he says will just make him appear worse, and Jim, oh, he's still acting carelessly, was seen last night at another club looking disheveled and inebriated. And guess who he was with that same unidentified woman? Therefore, the question now is not whether Chrissy will leave him, but rather how much Jim would regret it if she does. The only issue now is whether Jim will survive this fallout, or if this is the beginning of the end for Jim and Chrissy. Believe me, honey, when Chrissy makes her move, it will be the end of Jim Jones. Since this narrative is far from done, as you already know, I will return with all the developments. The issue now is this really the end for Jim and Chrissy after years of supporting him? Besides supporting him and keeping him in place, is Chrissy finally leaving for good? If so, what will happen to Jim next? Let's face it, without Chrissy, Jim's reputation and profession might not survive this one. But in reality, Chris isn't saying anything at the moment. Oh, honey. Her silence speaks louder than anything she could say if Chrissy leaves and files those court documents. In addition to losing his relationship, Jim might also lose his money, his home, his reputation in the industry, and the fact that he's still acting carelessly with the unidentified woman on his it seems like he's attempting to destroy himself. Arm Baby and the fans, oh, they've already chosen as a side, are fully in support of Chrissy on social media. And if she chooses to sue Jim, you know everyone will be observing. But what about the mystery man? Is he merely a buddy, or is there more to the story? The question now is, will Chrissy remain silent? And if you're on Team Chrissy or Team Jim, please share your ideas in the comments below. Is she going to use a power move that will defeat Jim permanently, or should she let him sink his own ship? Is it time for her to forgive Jim or leave now and don't turn around? Let me understand your thoughts because, sweetie, remember that drama is far from ended. To click like and subscribe, because I promise you that the following chapter will of this tale falls. My dear, you're wishing to be the first to find out. Keep checking back, because this is the only beginning.